Are Christians spiritual Jews? That's what we're going to talk about in this video. Now, many covenant replacement, fulfillment theology, so theologians use Romans 2:28 and 29 to show that everyone who is spiritually circumcised is now in essence a spiritual Jew as a Christian or a child of God. Is that what Romans 2:29 is really teaching? Well, let's have a look at the verse and understanding it in the context. All right, so it says in Romans 2:28, 29, "For he is not a Jew, which is one outwardly, neither is that circumcision which is outward in the flesh, but he is a Jew, which is one inwardly, and circumcision is that of the heart, and in the spirit, and not the letter, whose praise is not of men, but of God." Now, generally, when people are teaching these verses in this manner, they will just read these verses and say, see, real Jews are not ethnic people circumcised outwardly. Real Jews are people circumcised inwardly. That is, all believers in Christ. Now, like many verses taken out of context, these can be read by themselves to seemingly mean something that, when within the greater context of the passage, was not the intention of the author. The general context of Romans chapter 2 is to show the Jew that he is under God's judgment, being a breaker of the very law he was given by God, just as much as the heathen who did not have God's law are under God's judgment, because aspects of God's law are by nature written in their hearts. And the point of Romans 2 is to show the Jew that while they think they are saved by keeping the law, they really don't keep the law. And thus, they are under the same condemnation as the Gentiles. Paul says later in Romans 9, verses 30 to 32, "What shall we say then? That the Gentiles, which followed not after righteousness, have attained to righteousness, even the righteousness which is of faith. But Israel, which followed after the law of righteousness, hath not attained to the law of righteousness. Wherefore? Because they sought it not by faith, but as it were the works of the law, for they stumbled at that stumbling stone." Now, the point of Romans 2:28 and 29 is to show the Jew that they were trusting in their physical circumcision or their works, their physical heritage of being a Jew. But in order to be a Jew in the manner that they were thinking, that is, being Jewish is equivalent to salvation, then they needed to be circumcised in their hearts through faith and stop trusting in their religious Jewish works. Paul is trying to use their mindset to show what true salvation is. Now, being a Jew, which they equated to salvation, is about faith, not works. That is the point of Romans 2:28 and 29. The point is not that God sees all believers as spiritual Jews. Thank you. I'll see you in the next video.